Welcome back to my channel. My name is Olive and this is Podcast with Olive. So today I have my friend Finn, who is a personal trainer, powerlifter and parkour athlete.
Controversial.
Controversial. Yeah, but I was going for 3 Ps. It just rolls off the tongue quite nicely. Okay. So I was like, okay, cool, let's go with that. So why is it controversial?
So there's a big thing within the powerlifting community. It's, are you a powerlifter if you haven't competed?
Oh, interesting. And have you competed?
No. I was supposed to compete in like a month, but it got cancelled.
Okay.
So, no.
So it's just 2 Ps now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I say you... I don't know. I think you are a powerlifter.
Yeah.
If you train like a powerlifter, you're a powerlifter.
Yeah.
If you train like a bodybuilder, you're a bodybuilder. It's almost kind of gatekeepy to say you're not.
Yeah. Do you always have to compete if you're doing something that you just enjoy the training mechanisms of?
Exactly. That's why I'm like, nah. I think you're a powerlifter if you train powerlifting.
Okay, fine. So, slight digression. Talk to me about your parkour, because that's how I guess you kind of started in your movement and coaching journey, right?
Yeah. So, take it back.
Take it back.
Okay, so when I was a child, so I started doing parkour back in 2011, 2012, I think. Originally, it was a classic thing. Like you see a kid doing something new, and you like kind of like, that's lame. You're lame. Which, looking back now, is probably bullying. Which is like, so you sit there. But one of my mates was just jumping around on some walls or whatever. We're like, oh, what's that? That's stupid. Because that's parkour. And he was like, yeah, you're lame. And then he's like, do you want to do it? And we were like, yeah, okay. So he like came along, jumped around, and then a guy opened up a class called Zach Carter. He opened up a class, did like a taster, so I went to that, gave that a go, really enjoyed it, and then I started to be like, cool, I'm going to jump around on walls for fun. And then after that, the classes started up again, like 6 months later, and it became like a regular thing. And then from there, do you remember D.A.V.?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I completed it, mate.
Yeah. So the Duke of Edinburgh Award, I didn't. I did my bronze. I was like, fuck that. I'm okay now. I don't want to tell them to tell me I have to do something.
Fair.
Authority issues. That's why I do parkour. It's counterculture, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so for DAV, I was like, I needed to do a voluntary and a skill and a physical. I did parkour for all 3. It was awesome. So I'm skillfully jumping. I volunteered at the place I was working. I was like, this is physical. So I did the whole thing.
Okay.
Did that. And then day came around. I was like 13. And my mum was like, cool, time to get a Saturday job. Yeah. I was like, to the mines with you. And then I got a job offer at a suit rental hire.
Okay, interesting.
I rocked up in some jeans and a nice t-shirt. And a nice shirt rather, and I was told that was inappropriate for a Saturday job at the age of 13.
Wow.
So yeah, and then I called up Zach and I was like, so my mum wants me to get a job. Have you got anything? Otherwise I have to stop. He was like, yeah, we've got something, it's fine, something's just come up. Put down the phone. I found out years later that he was like, we didn't have anything. We were just like, cool, it's on the spot. So he just gave me a job. Nice. And I've been coaching that for like 10 years.
Oh wow.
After that, and then I was like head coach of his place, and we like expanded, and then the company got sold to someone. I didn't really agree with the way the company was moving, so it was going into like a more monetary thing rather than like helping people. Okay. So I cut from that, started my own little thing for a year called Meta Movement. Nice. Did everything myself, but apart from actually like Chris Harrison and James Harrison and Marcus Dell will give me a hand with like building stuff, and like they help coach at events, things like that. And then
so how did you do that? Did you have your own like gym space, or?
I had a van.
Okay.
I was a man with a van. It was sweet. This is one of my proudest moments for sure. So I got this van, and I designed and built all the equipment that we used in our space. So we'd rent out a gym, a hall. Okay. And we built, but I designed 6 A-frame boxes, stacks of 3 that would sit perfectly within the Vauxhall Vivaro in the van. So it'd be like that, and then like stack like that. Okay. So we got 6 bits of equipment, a tractor tire, matting, and a full bar frame setup on one van.
Nice.
All of it. And then, transported it around. Did like a school event, did another one, did some stuff with the Scouts,
Okay.
I think. Was that? Yeah, Scouts. And then insurance day came around. And obviously, insurance for parkour stuff is quite expensive.
Yeah.
And I didn't make like the best decisions. And I was like, let's do this gym like red thing. And then hardly anyone came, didn't advertise enough.
Right.
So I had to call it. So stopped coaching like 5 years ago, 4 years ago, like officially.
Okay.
And then dusted around for a bit. Worked in a cafe one day.
Nice.
Because I refused to do actual work.
And now look at you.
Now I'm a personal trainer.
Okay, so when did that happen?
I'm trying to think, because if COVID years count,
Yeah.
of like personal training, I've been personal training for like 3 years.
I mean, it does count because it was such a big part of everyone's life.
Yeah, but I wasn't like coaching all that much. So I didn't have like the coaching, the actual coaching experience.
Okay.
Because I think I qualified in January of COVID year.
2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
January of 2020, and then we went to lockdown, like
March?
5 months later?
Yeah.
And I was like, nice. So I was one of the forgotten few that didn't have any access to the grants, didn't have
really
anything. Yeah, because I started as it happened. You needed like
you needed 2 years
before. So that all came about because I decided to work in a cafe, miserable. And then my friend at the time mentioned that someone was looking to educate and then hire a personal trainer.
Okay.
So they paid for my course. I worked for them.
Very sick.
Yeah, which is cool.
Yeah.
Did that for 3 months, and then before I was like officially qualified, because you could teach classes, did that for like 3 months, and then I got a job offer in Edinburgh. Left my job, said I'd say yes to the job in Edinburgh, went to Edinburgh, didn't like the job, came back, asked my job back, got told no, and I was like, cool. So I had to cough up $1,000 somehow, and then I qualified and became a PT in Anytime Fitness.
Nice.
It all started from there.
Amazing. And now look at you.
And now I'm in Brighton in the gym group.
Sweet.
Like just become come September, I'll be fully self-employed personal trainer.
Very exciting. It's a big journey then to have gone from jumping on walls as a youth.
Yeah, as a hooligan, and still do jump on walls as a hooligan.
It's fine. Yeah, that's interesting. So you've only just kind of come back to that. So tell me a little bit more about why you had a year hiatus from parkour.
I kind of fell out of love with the sport.
Okay.
To not get too deep.
Sure.
Long story short, fell out in love with the sport. Didn't really have the passion. I wasn't going for it anymore. So I was lying to myself for 3 months, 4 months, and I was like, yeah, I'm just training in the gym to get myself stronger for parkour. And then I was I trained once in 3 months, and I'd do an Instagram post and be like, oh, I'm back, and I wouldn't post for another 6 months, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm doing this. So no.
Okay.
So ended up just stopping that, just lifting in the gym, and then found powerlifting, and I was I like the challenge of lifting something heavy. It's similar to parkour in the sense that it's an independent sport. It's not like a team thing, really. It can be considered quite a lonely sport because it is you. Obviously, there's lots of, I know a lot of people would argue against that, but in essence, it's you on the platform by yourself. Yeah. It's not you. No one else is going to lift that bar for you. So it was a natural kind of I like this. I like trying to be strong as I could. In it, that would help parkour down the line. So I was if I ever wanted to go back to it, I'm not giving up on sport. And then did that for I got a powerlifting coach back in January. Yeah. And only just recently stopped. Okay. So however many months that is.
6 months? 7 months? Yeah.
Again, don't know if people call me a powerlifter because I haven't lifted for that long, like a powerlifter.
But you trained as a powerlifting athlete.
But yeah, so it was training like that. So it's lots of heavy singles and doubles and triples and stuff like that. But yeah, and then I was set up to do a comp, which fell through.
Right, fair enough.
No idea why. Something about the gym or whatever.
So where do you find yourself navigating the waters now?
I'll do parkour again. That literally started, I was talking to a friend and I showed them some videos and I was like, shit. I was like, this is really cool. I like that. Then I just literally just went through my Instagram back like years and I was like, man, I do really like this sport. It's cool. Well, I think it's cool. Loads of people might not think it's cool.
Sure.
But I think it's cool because it's got like a whole culture around it. It's way more of like an obvious community than like powerlifting. Again, I know people that argue powerlifting is a huge community, which I found it harder to get involved in powerlifting than you do in parkour because it's such like it's an individual sport you do in a group.
Yeah.
Whereas powerlifting, you can kind of do it by yourself. And it's not as like, if I see another powerlifter in the gym, they very rarely came up to me and were like, oh, like, how are you doing?
Right.
If a parkour athlete is walking around on the street and they see someone else doing parkour, they're probably going to say something.
That's interesting.
Whether or not they say like, oh, hi, how you doing? You're like, oh, sick. That's like a good jump. And then you like strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of getting back into that and then using my knowledge of personal training and powerlifting style of training to try and supplement that.
Okay.
And by starting, I mean like this week. This is the first week, so I haven't seen how far that would go.
Yeah.
But it's very similar in like you'll do top sets, working sets, back off sets if you want to call it, and then like singles, doubles, triples, and see how that kind of fares into parkour.
Interesting. So when it comes to your like clients and stuff, are they Gen Pop or are they like athletes that you do like strength and conditioning work for, or what's the deal?
So they're Gen Pop, which fully varies. I have some clients which are like wanting to lose some body fat percentage because they're a little bit overweight and we're having like awesome success with them. But then I've got a few, but the majority of my clients also want to get strong, and that's in the gym because I lift heavy. People probably see me lifting heavy, and I say like strength is one of my things on your PT poster or whatever it is. So they all want to get strong, so we kind of couple that in together. None of them have lifted this way before, so none of them have been like, I'm going to do like heavy squats, or heavy deads and stuff like that. Not for everyone. I don't. If people have a client be like, oh, I'm a bit bored of that now, so we're changing up completely. Which I'm more happy to do. But the majority of my clients like strength training, and then my favorite quote I've ever heard from one of my clients was female client came up to me and was like, I want to get so strong I scare men. I was like, yes. So so she like lifts heavy stuff. She does like squats twice a week. She's like doing triple 3x3 right now as well, so he's trying to like rack it up. I've got another client which is just like freakishly strong bench press.
Sweet.
Found out today.
Sweet.
Which is cool. So she's never benched in her life. We've done loads of like dumbbell stuff because I was like she didn't seem like she wanted to go down that route.
Sure.
Did some bench press. Now she benched 40 for 3 sets of 5.
Oh,
like,
nice.
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Sweet.
Which is cool.
That's exciting. One of like my favorite things is having like a female client's perspective change, like in the gym, to be able to facilitate that change. So
hey Jax.
Jax has just decided to play with some plastic. He will bite it because it's his favorite noise in the world. So he's just off camera doing that, but cute, whatever. He wakes me up sometimes biting on plastic. It's great. Or licking the books. It's fun.
There's fully a joke in that somewhere.
Yeah.
About cats licking books.
I mean, yeah, he's thirsty for the knowledge.
Yeah.
That would be the obvious thing, right?
Yeah, that's where I was going.
No? But no, sort of coming back to where we were. It is a wonderful thing to be able to facilitate that change of perspective for someone, as I'm sure you can relate, and just like allow people to see that they can take up space in a environment that's perhaps traditionally not made for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Also, like the gym floor is a male-dominated area.
Yeah.
And that gym-timidation is a thing.
Gym-tidation.
Gym-timidation.
Gym-timidation.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
People do get terrified of that.
Entirely.
And I've noticed a lot of not a lot, but more guys than I also anticipated as well, which is quite interesting. Generally, the like more timid, generally speaking, more timid guys are like a bit scared because the biggest fear most people have, I think, or one of the biggest fears, obviously, apart from men, is not knowing what to do and rocking up and just being like acting a fool.
Yeah.
So I've had loads of guys where like half of the progress, or half the process with this one dude in particular was like, cool, on your day you go in, you do one exercise and you leave. And then next week you're doing two, and the week after you're doing three, and now he trains by himself.
Nice.
And the exact same thing with like my female clients, the one that's also freakishly strong bench press.
Yeah.
Like I remember when she did her first solo session, and she'd do one exercise downstairs in the weight room and do the rest of the exercises upstairs on the machines, like away from everyone. I was like, cool, you've done one by yourself. Now next week, let's try and do two exercises or three exercises. And then I got a text one day on like a Sunday, which was like, cool, I did it. And I was like, it's like success.
Amazing.
Which is like a really cool little feeling. That like people are like, yeah, I deserve to be here.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Interesting. And this is a massive generalization, but do you feel like people are intimidated by you, like at the gym, because of like your size? You are very tall and you're very big. And you're lifting heavy shit.
So there was this guy, story time. There was a guy, so I can get quite. So I've got a whole thing. There's a difference between actual aggression and passion. And passion is where the thing you love doesn't go right and you get annoyed with it.
Okay.
And it's not annoying to anyone else. It's not annoying to whatever. And this definitely couples over from parkour. Or I can imagine like a videographer, a movement art of any form where something's not working, you injure yourself and you get really pissed off.
Yeah.
And it's not aimed at anyone else. It's like an internalized thing.
But it comes out like externally.
Because you're a human. You have emotions.
Yeah.
So I can remember I did this deadlift. It wasn't going right. I was having a really shit day. So I like threw the bar on the floor, took my house and threw it on the floor.
Okay.
And as soon as that happens, I immediately smile. So I'm like, cool, I'm done. It wasn't like a thing. I'm not a child.
You got the emotion out. Yeah.
Like the emotion or whatever, the passion.
Yeah.
Done. And then this guy, I put it on my story and did like a whole explanation of exactly that, being like, I think this is fine. As long as it's not aimed at anyone, as long as you're not carrying it around with you in the rest of the day, whatever. This guy shared my post, or screenshotted it and shared it so I couldn't see it. Okay. And then, I wonder if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. And then ended up, he was like, he had like 10, 15K followers on Instagram. Was like, this is unacceptable. The gym's like a place of blah, blah, blah. And then the thing that really pissed me off, he's like, women were around there. And I was like, okay, you a bitch. It's like, because like, okay, what does it matter? Like, also our gym is full of fucking strong women. Yeah. So they're all there. And then I live in that gym. I spend 12 hours a day on there in the regular. Like, most people know me. Yeah. And it really annoyed me that he was like, came across as like, oh, feeble. I was like, right. Okay. That's like one of the funniest things he's happened to me at the gym.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I can't remember what the question was, but that was I don't want to tell my story.
I mean, it worked, hey? But I like what a phrase that you said to me once is calculated rage. Can you just explain what that is?
So in contrast to what I've just said, I'm not a...
You're not an angry lifter.
No.
Like, you are very, very, like, placid.
Yeah. I'm very, 100%. Yeah. And so for the longest time, I'd be because of, like, the parkour side of stuff, you don't want to be adrenaline-y.
No, of course. You want to kind of enter into a mindset that is almost meditative. And that was, like, my experience with it. Every time I'm about to do something, I'm like, well, I don't want to necessarily get myself too hyped up. I need to focus and control as much as I can before I move.
And then adrenaline can make you fuck up. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So you've got the crossover from your parkour into your lifting.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was doing that, and I'd be very like non-expressive. I'd be like, cool, breathe, go. Someone would annoy me, the occasional burst of rage, but it wasn't like a rage, so to speak. Even with my successes, I'd have like the day I deadlifted 200, I just smiled. I wasn't like screaming, jumping around. I was like, nice. Nice. But then, looking at your boy Tom Taylor, Movement Power, big up. He, whenever you see him doing a heavy lift or something that actually scares him, he stamps the floor and shouts very quietly, "Fuck," to himself.
Okay.
And that controlled rage. So I was like pondering that not too long ago. And then I was going for one of my big lifts and it was like freaking me out. So I was like, hey, stop being a bitch. Like prep talk myself like that. And then I stamped my feet and got myself really angry quite like suddenly, the controlled rage. And then went for the lift and the lift was going bink. And I was like, oh my God. So I think in essence, the way like Tom does it, it's about hitting that kind of like adrenaline peak for it, rather than just being like breathe and like calm all the time. I think there is a use to controlled rage, like calculated rage, to give you that little
extra boost.
That little 10% more that you might need, or 2% more that you might need. Think about like the elite level athletes. They might not be screaming to themselves fuck, but they are surrounded by immense pressure and kind of like, I'm gonna go for it. You've got that kind of thing. In the gym by yourself, you don't really have that.
That's what I found, like, as I started moving more towards like heavier Olympic lifting. Again, because it's a sport that you are literally doing by yourself, you have to be your own like hype man. So there'd be points where I'd be going for like my clean, I'm a lot more comfortable with that. I know where I stand with it. With the snatch, there's so much more like wariness and nervousness around it still, just because I've had some like nasty bails. I know you've seen my horrific bail, but that was with a clean. It was hilarious. I'm so sad I didn't get it on camera. But like what really helped me after I think I saw you and Tom share about that was kind of hyping myself up as I walked towards the bar. And something that my coach Chloe said to me was, visualize yourself performing the lift completely perfectly. Do that in your head a couple times, from like the moment you step up to the bar, setting yourself up with your grip, and then the whole lift. Once you have that visualization, you can then take yourself into it. So what I do is that I have the visualization of me completing the lift, then I have that aspect of control rage that comes in, and then midway through the lift, if I'm like, fuck, that was a lot heavier than I thought, I will shout at myself in the bottom position up. Like there are videos of me screaming at myself up, because no one else will do it for me. And that's helped so much. And I learned that from my friend Mig. Like he will scream that at his friend. And I was like, yeah, no one else is being my cheerleader right now. So I got to do it for me. And that's helped immensely. And it's such an interesting headspace to come into, because my obvious like other movement background is yoga, which is so entirely placid and so like meditative and so like focused and internal. And then the other part of me is this like little rage gremlin.
I just have this like visual image of you screaming at someone's getting to downwards dog. Get a fucking downwards dog.
Can you imagine? Oh my god. Yeah.
Do it in your next one.
When my two personalities accidentally swap.
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, it's a really valuable tool, and it's taught me so much like mentally about myself as well, and where I can push myself, not only mentally but physically.
I don't know obviously how many of your listeners or viewers are from the States, but look in the comparison of how the gym culture in America is full of people supporting each other like that.
Really interesting.
Massively.
Interesting.
All of these videos you see of people screaming at each other, like screaming up, like going mad, they're all from America.
Well, yeah, Mig is from the States.
Exactly.
There we go.
But then you come to England and people are like, cool.
Do you think it's just like British politeness then? Or just like people just not wanting to interact? Because
I don't think there's much the same value put on, well, there's not the same value put on sport as there is in America, as there is in comparison to England. So like in America, it's like all about sport, like the NFL Combine, everyone really wants to do it. You can get like scholarships into things, like it's a really valid way to get out of really dire situations. That's sport. Yeah, of course. So there's a massive emphasis on it, whereas in England, it's like PE. Where in like America, they like teach weightlifting.
Yeah, I know.
In schools.
It's insane.
Yeah. but it's it's a completely different culture. That's why I want to go to the States and like lift. But that's why also I think most of like some of the best lifters in the world are American.
Yeah.
And you see their videos and it's all of their friends and it's all like gyms that they go into, like random gyms where people just like see them go for a heavy lift, they all stop, they watch, they appreciate, they all like scream with them. And it's like a community.
Yeah.
Where in England it's even more of a lonely sport. Lifting in general, weightlifting, powerlifting, powerlifting, whatever. It's way more lonely, I think.
I feel like apart from the CrossFit community, that's different.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. Sorry, Chloe.
Well, so I know that you want to go to the States in the future. What I'm interested in to talk about, and stepping a little bit away from, I guess, like your coaching and your movement, is your trip in America. Because when you told me about it before in the past, it's just always been super interesting how you went to like Grand Canyon and then traveled around. And it was for parkour, right?
Grand Canyon wasn't.
Okay.
So the parkour one was
Vancouver?
Yeah, it was. Did both. So I went traveling when I was 18 and found myself.
Oh my god, gap year.
I went to Iceland, Canada, America, Fiji, New Zealand, Australia. Flex. That's going to give me a lot of like, oh, he's a prick. I'm like, nice.
No, the story behind it is like wonderful.
Yeah. So I went traveling there, did Vancouver and some places, but then revisited those places with my one of my best mates, Marcus. But we went to Iceland, Canada, America.
Okay.
We did Iceland. We met. There's a parkour community in Iceland.
Nice.
With like a gym.
Nice.
So we went there, met a dude, went traveling around there, saw the Northern Lights, then went to Vancouver. Yeah, went to Vancouver, then went from Vancouver to Toronto, then went Toronto down to like Seattle, Portland, end up in San Fran, and then shot off back home.
So were these all for parkour events?
Not events, just
no. Just
why not? Like literally, I can remember when we booked it. It was like we sat on my sofa, like, I've gone away in a while. Do you want to go somewhere? And we looked at some flights, and then we both saw Canada, and then we were like,
cool.
We do it. Do a big travel, and then we just went, if we book it now, we can't say no.
Yeah.
So we on the spot booked these flights to Canada for like 2 months time, or a month's time. We were like, so we need to plan what's going on because we can book to one way.
Oh no way!
So we knew we were going to make a bit of a trip out of it, and then. No, we were going to book Canada, and then we were like, oh shit, what if we did Iceland, then Canada? So we booked a flight to Iceland one way. We're like, well, I've done it now. So we've got to go. So then, we met up. We messaged our mates, and we're like, oh, we've done this. If anyone wants to come.
Yeah.
No one can make it at the time. So we're like, cool.
Yeah.
So we just booked off going Canada, and from there, and then knew some people in like San Fran, so went down to there.
Nice.
And then the parkour community being as it is, we just messaged randomers.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you find that there's a difference between the parkour community in the States and England, or is it relatively similar?
Yeah, but so the general like consensus is if you're traveling, like you'll probably be hosted. And the same thing is like if you're here and someone asks, chances are you'll host them, even strangers. But I've always thought of the parkour community in England as more like ratty.
Oh, really?
Just in the way we dress, move, like the clothes we wear, and like America is very like clean cut.
Oh, interesting.
And they name their parkour tricks lame words like lunar eclipse.
Okay.
Get over yourself.
And what is that in England?
I think it's a 360 running pre to cork. Just call it what it is. Stop being around the bush.
Yeah, but Americans are like that, I guess. It's like sidewalk, pavement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's literally only in the way we like move.
Okay.
But apart from that, I say the community is pretty like similar.
Interesting.
People are willing to host you in the most obscure locations.
That's interesting that parkour has more similarities between the two places and like gym environments. Yeah.
I think because parkour's a counterculture at the end of the day. That's why people equate parkour to skateboarding so much. And there was a bit of a thing not too long ago within the community. It was like chats about like, is it too close? What can you do?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. People were equating it too much. And they were like, oh, but this is a different culture. You're like destroying the culture of it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was getting really deep for a load of like ratty guys that are probably seshing and then going out for jabs. But because it is a counterculture, it's against like societal norms. We wear kind of like skater style stuff.
Yeah.
And the reason it's probably got a shtick of being like hooligans is because it's not something you'd see. But it's the exact same way skateboarding back in the day was like really, anyone that did it was like a hooligan Satanist that wanted to see the world burn. And there was just like these kids just on skateboards, like planks of wood with wheels. Yeah. So it's like kind of in that front. So I think there's that similarity.
Okay.
Whereas gym culture, it's probably like from how you're born and raised into like sport being important, sport being good. And like in the States, you learn weightlifting from a young age. You can probably make it fun. You can have team like your best mates, and you meet at school. You weightlift at school, and then you shoot off and probably go to the gym again. Where in England, it's like health. It's peculiar because obviously like the obesity rates in the States are more, but they're like sport importance is greater. Yeah. But in England, obviously, we don't do much sport apart from fucking football and rounders.
Netball too.
And netball. Yeah.
No one knows what netball is. It's really sad.
Really?
Yeah, no one.
It's like a lame basketball.
Yeah, I know, but it's so like genderized, isn't it? It's
just
like, women can't run, so we're gonna make them catch the balls and stay where they are.
Yeah, it's like rugby as well.
Yeah, I know. I was having this conversation the other day with one of my friends actually after watching the Women's Euros, and saying how like PE at school went, hello.
Well, go on, brother. You soon.
He's found his ball. Guest appearance from Jax, yay. And saying how at school, like, we would do sports with, like, the boys until I think we all got to, like, year 8 or year 9, and then suddenly it was like, oh, no, we can't do, like, mixed sport anymore because the boys will just, like, annihilate the girls in terms of strength and, like, physical ability. But then we would go off and play netball, and then boys would play football, or we would do, like, dance, and they would do rugby. And it frustrated me because I was more interested in things like rugby, and we were just not allowed to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
No, whereas I feel like in the States, perhaps I could be entirely wrong, but from what you've kind of said, is that girls have more of an equal opportunity there to try out different sports. Maybe not American football.
Yeah, but like women's basketball is like a thing.
Yeah.
Not that many people necessarily know about it or do it, or Jax, you sociopath. No. That wasn't the right ball. Oh well.
He's got it now.
Yeah. Yeah, although people might not know about it as much, I think it's probably like a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think, I mean, female sport alone is severely underdone. So I back when I was in school, all the girls were like, no, I can't do sports, and they come up with whatever excuse they could.
100%. And it's sad because, like, females are so capable, just as capable. Oh, we stopping? Lol, sauce. Oh, we good?
I've changed positions.
Okay, fine. Can we just do like a... I'm going to do that thing. Oh my god, holy shit. You know the one that we did with Ollie? Where it's... But it's going to hurt my ass, but I'm going to do it anyway. You want to do it with me?
Nope, I value my ass.
Come on, you have a dump truck of an ass. You can do it.
Gotta look after it.
Oh, do it with me right now. All you got to do is just like... Oh my god, Finn, you're so boring. Do it with me in 3, 2, 1. And we're back. Yay, thank you for doing that with me. We were talking about just kind of allowing or trusting that women can be involved in sport just as much as men can, particularly at a younger age, and just not scaremongering them. I think it's a thing that needs to happen. The whole, like, obviously education system around it needs to change. But I think we're slowly kind of getting there. Women are taking up more space in male-dominated facilities, like gyms. You're seeing more like female weightlifters, Olympic lifters, and there's just like wider representation now. So I think things are moving in a good direction.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Mm.
From what I've seen, obviously it's not where we all want it to be.
No, very far from it.
But like in places where I'm from, the way that the gym I work at and stuff, there's a lot of very strong females, which is sick.
Yeah.
Disproportionately so, apparently.
Oh, really?
Like the manager of the gym, or old manager of the gym, was like, yeah, this gym's got a load of very strong females in it.
Amazing.
Which was really cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
We love that.
I do.
This is a part where I ask you 3 random questions.
Gosh.
Right. Where you end up pondering it for about 10 minutes.
Half an hour.
Okay, so the first question I have. What would be an internal and external thing you would change about yourself? Ooh.
Oh my god!
I know, I went deep.
Internal and external.
Mm-hmm.
External, I'm pretty fucking sick.
I really rate your God complex, so you know it's here. We're here for that. Okay, cool.
That is a hard one. Internal.
And that could be to do with like personality, emotions, or
not
like
having medical issues.
Exactly. Okay.
Not having diabetes.
Yeah, we haven't actually touched on that. So do you want to share a little bit about the story?
Got a bit sad once, got diabetes.
I mean, yeah, I know the full story, but
yeah. So long story short, I got diagnosed with diabetes type 1 last year in January after being a young and fit, I do say so myself, personal trainer. Yeah, I got diagnosed with it after a trauma response from your body, which is fun. So my best friend committed suicide, and then 2 months later my dad died. My body was like, you need more. So it's like, now you got diabetes. And then, yeah, went blind for a week.
That's really scary.
Lost 7 to 12 kilograms.
Really?
In 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah. And then I was lean as fuck. It was sweet. And then, then had diabetes. Or got diagnosed with diabetes.
Right, yeah.
I probably had November of the year prior, and my best friend died in May.
Okay.
My dad, July, August, September, October, 3-4 months later.
Yeah.
It's a trauma response from your body.
Isn't it fucking insane what the body can do?
It's a piece of shit. So I've got the body, fucking awesome. Like cool as shit. It's got the amount of energy that it can reabsorb. You little
Jax.
No.
You're just loving that cable right now. No, Bubbas.
The amount of like force the body can produce, the amount of elasticity. Oh, that cat. I'm watching.
This
amount of elasticity that it can generate and reabsorb and stuff like that. Awesome. You can walk down the road and you will fuck your ankle. Or you can pick up a cardboard box and herniate your disc.
Yeah. Or you're allergic to nature.
Yeah.
Hay fever.
The people that are allergic to peanuts are pussies.
I'm telling my best friend Matt.
Cool, I've got diabetes. What's he going to come at me with? I got that as my get out of jail free card.
But I mean, like, okay, as much as I guess you would change that, you've also learned so much about it, and you have clients who have diabetes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So we determined today that she is a female version of me.
Interesting.
She her build is very similar, and we both got diagnosed at a similar time.
Wow.
She got it because of COVID.
Really? Trauma response to COVID, potentially?
Yeah. So
or just like high stress levels, or?
Just immune response.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
So her immune response was type 1 diabetes actually kind of pinged up during COVID because
really?
The immune response from the body was like triggering the gene.
No way.
Which is really interesting.
Wow, that is fascinating.
So a few people thought that that's probably why I had it, but I think I had COVID. I'm back before COVID started.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't have it anytime soon.
So do you reckon yours is like a combination of probably like the trauma in your life with those events, and then also perhaps COVID?
I think the COVID was too far gone.
Okay. Fair.
I've been at like similar times. This was
Okay.
like a year. And a
Oh,
half
I
prior.
see. Okay.
I had COVID. I think I had COVID. And then, yeah, it was within like 4 months
Wow.
of getting diabetes after everyone died.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's taught me like a lot about coaching. I'm in a very lucky state. I was a personal trainer anyway.
Yeah.
So I knew how to count calories, what calories are, carb counting, having too high body fat levels making you more insulin resistant, stuff like that. So I've got like a leg up on it.
Yeah.
All,
Interesting.
Really. And then like weight training, parkour, jumping around, being active is good for it anyway. So
Yeah, of course.
still got that benefit.
But if you could change it, you wouldn't have it.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
It's well annoying. I start myself like 6 times a day. It's just like it's not even pain, it's just effort.
Yeah, fair.
I was like, oh, okay.
Cool. Stab.
Jab up.
Yeah.
And then my external thing would before you say it.
I was not doing that.
No, I like being bald. Although that's actually more maintenance than I thought it was.
Oh, really?
I shaved over the other day. Bald by choice.
Nice.
I don't know. Okay, so if I was going from like a power lifter mindset, I'd want like stubby legs and longer arms.
Right,
So I'd
okay.
be good at deadlifting and squats.
Nice.
And I would give a fuck about bench. So
Fair.
maybe big chest cavity, then I'd look like a freak. But probably
You seem
stronger
content.
pulling muscles.
Okay,
So
okay.
stronger back.
No.
I'd say that. Literally just because pull-ups suck.
Yep,
It's made it easier. That's about it.
fair enough. You're a pretty content guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
easy to
thick.
please.
What do I need?
So true.
3 C's.
And a Q too. Okay, next question. And I asked this one because you're like a nerd at heart. If you had a tail, what would it be and why?
The tail.
Yeah, a tail, like an animal tail.
That makes me wildly uncomfortable. I wouldn't want a tail. It's
Why
immediate
wouldn't
like
you?
furry. And I'm like,
I know.
thing, but I'm not there.
I was asking, so my thing is, as a kid, I was like, it would be sick to have a monkey's tail because it would be like another arm for practicality and you could swing from stuff. That's what I was going.
Yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know what use would a bird tail be.
It would have no use.
Exactly, the only one that's got any use is a monkey's tail.
Yeah, but then you could have like a fox's tail for like aesthetic, or a squirrel's tail for aesthetic.
I'm very okay not having a tail for aesthetics.
This is where I target my niche of furries.
We're dipping into different like pools now, different demographics.
Exactly.
Next week, how to furry. We're in.
Okay, fine. Final question, because you're full of this, not bullshit. Tell me a fun fact. And one that I've not heard from you before, because you've told me quite a few. I'm joking.
I've got a couple.
Hurry up then.
I met the Romanian president.
Cool.
Because we were at a festival in Romania and he walked past and my mum shouted, "We're English," and he was like, "How'd you like my country?" Something like that, which was pretty cool.
Nice.
I think you got like executed the year later.
Oh, okay.
Which is a weird trade-off. My mum told me, I don't know if that was real. And I have a fake tooth.
I know.
Do you know that one?
Yeah.
Shot out with a BB gun.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Nice.
It's yet to fall out. It's supposed to fall out soon.
Nice.
So I'm going to prank someone with it.
One more fact.
I got loads of pointless facts.
Share.
I did, and I actually just forgot them as I said that.
This is where we can just do a little timer. Ticking along.
That's past. Is it? Speed run bit.
Yeah. What is it? Countdown?
Yeah. Another sweet fact about myself.
No, not about yourself, man. Just like a fact in general.
Facts in general.
Yeah, I was like, yours are very specific to you.
I thought you meant like a fact about you.
No.
Oh.
Step away from the narcissism. I'm joking.
Awesome. Yeah, but now you put me on the spot. Fun fact about myself.
Not about yourself.
Not about myself. Fun fact.
About the world.
The rabies virus is uncurable.
Oh, well, that's a joyful note.
Yeah, I watched a video on it yesterday. It's
Thanks so
uncurable, and however, it's so slow acting that if you get bitten by a rabies infected creature, you can still receive the vaccine and it still work because it's that slow.
Nice.
It can take up to a year for rabies to show.
Really?
But if you show symptoms, you're fine.
Interesting. Nice.
My fun facts about rabies.
Fun facts about rabies. Cool. Well, just to kind of finish off on, what are your future projections for yourself, your business, your movement?
Myself.
My business and my movement.
Myself. Get strong. That's what I want. My business. Work on content. Branch out my online client base more. And change lives. What was the other one?
And
My movement.
yes.
Do more sick PK.
Sweet.
Do more parkour.
Beautiful.
And lift heavy. Actually, no. I want to like upskill greatly, and I want to fully start parkour. Sorry, Tom Taylor. Start coaching parkour athletes.
Nice.
So I'm going to try and put out like a test dummy to people and see how, like a few free people, and see how they move and if they'd be down for it.
So like a strength and conditioning coach for parkour?
Yeah, but not strength and conditioning. I'd like to do that, like as a course. I just want to be the best coach in the world. So that is literally what I want to do. I want to be the best coach in the world.
We can go for it. Do you have any parting words? Any nuggets of wisdom to share?
That aren't rude.
I mean...
if you want to be healthy, lift some heavy shit.
And put it back down again.
Maybe we don't.
Oh.
Take it home with you.
Okay.
Walk out the door.
So I will link all your bits in the description below. But yeah, how can people get in touch with you otherwise?
As you'll see here.
Do you want my...
It's going to see, as you see here, it's going to say @FinnThePT on Instagram.
And OnlyFins.
And OnlyFins. No, but it's for serious. If there's a market, I'll do it. Let me know. It's a couple of quid.
Big bold bitch.
Big broad bitch.
Yeah.
@OnlyFins.com. Please.
Well, thank you so much for joining me and coming on my podcast. It was great.
Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome.
It was actually as scary as I thought.
Okay, I'm not that scary. Debatable. And on that note, see you later. Bye.